All right, so no big post-game reaction tonight. I was not watching the entirety of this game, so that's not fair for you guys to be listening to someone react to this game when I haven't watched the entirety of it. But Matt Waldron obviously left some pitches over the middle of the plate. Not middle, but right in the sweet spot for some of those Rockies hitters. A couple of home runs allowed. Yeah, Ha-Sung Kim homered, Xander Bogaerts homered, but the Padres, they grounded into 4 double plays. I think they were 0 for with runners in scoring position. That is obviously not a good recipe for success. Good news, though, maybe great news, is that the Padres do not have to play the Colorado Rockies in the postseason. So don't have to worry about that. Now, all these games matter. You know, the Padres could not get the ideal postseason positioning because they lost a series to the Rockies, let's say, get swept by the Rockies, and that could be an issue. But, still the Padres have won 19 of their last 23 games. I think we got to step back and realize how good that still is. But moving on, the majority of this video, when should we expect Fernando to return to the Padres? And also you, Darvish. Dennis Lin, he was on San Diego Sports 760, and he, I believe, was talking to Marty Caswell and said that Fernando hasn't started sprinting yet. I believe his words were essentially nowhere near starting to sprint yet, but just to be safe, he hasn't started sprinting yet. And so let's just start there before getting to Darvish. Okay, so he hasn't started sprinting yet. Wasn't the goal like maybe late August? I thought that was a goal, but that's not going to happen. If you haven't started sprinting yet, it's August 16th. You're not going to come back in August. So is it early September? For me, because I feel like this Padres team is going to make the postseason. So I just want Fernando to be good to go come postseason time. Now, what does that mean, though? Is it going to be an 80% Fernando? Is he going to have to DH and not play the field? Because they probably don't want him running all around the outfield with what he's got going on with the stress reaction. So I'm not at the point where I'm concerned, like super concerned, because it's August 16th and the Padres have been playing so well even without Fernando. I just want Fernando back for the postseason. And so really just this is both of these guys, Fernando and Darvish, really. It's just let's keep an eye on it. It's something to keep tabs on here. What's their progress like? Is there a step back? Is there a step forward? It seems like there's a step forward for Darvish, but it's an unclear step forward because Darvish, he was scheduled to throw today. So let's say he did throw today. Don't know if that was just a bullpen session or what. We know, what was it, last Sunday? That was reported that he threw a live BP session in the San Diego area. So that was good news that he was at least in San Diego. But we don't know if that's him just what he usually does. He's been doing that this whole time. Or is he doing that because he's starting to ramp up and he's going to get closer to coming back to the Padres? And we just don't know when that date is going to be. So that's unclear. The Tatis thing, it's unclear. They don't really have a big update on when Fernando is going to come back. It's just, well, if you haven't started sprinting yet, then to me, when should we expect Fernando to come back? It's sometime in September. I'm not expecting an August return. Definitely not. The good news, though, is yes, of course, you want Fernando back with the Padres, but I'd rather have him take his time. The Padres are in a good spot right now. They've been playing good baseball. Be as healthy as he can come postseason time, and then let's roll. And the good news is that David Peralta, he has been hitting well since Fernando went on the IL. I put a tweet out the other day, I think it was yesterday, about David Peralta since Fernando went on the IL, which was June 24th. Remember, there was a bunch of roster moves on that day. And David Peralta since then, or this was entering today, 305 average, 340 on base percentage, 547 slug, 887 OPS, 6 homers, 17 runs driven in, and 15 runs scored. So David Peralta was a minor league deal, a veteran guy. It's a lefty bat. He's provided some pop for the Padres. And so it's working. And they have Bryce Johnson. I know some fans are not big fans of Bryce Johnson. Like, what does he bring to the club? And that's understandable. Jose Azocar, I believe, is down there in the minor league. So I guess he could be an option as well. But the good news is you've got someone producing in Peralta, not playing every day, but he's playing most of the time. Good news there. Obviously, good news in center with Jackson Merrill. Should be the rookie of the year. And then you've got in left field Jurickson Profar, who has been arguably the Padres' best player, most valuable player this year. And he's probably going to get top 10 MVP votes if the season ended today. I know it doesn't, but just saying. Starting left fielder in the All-Star game, all of that. So the outfield, it's in a good spot even without Fernando. So I'm just hoping that Fernando, when he comes back, he's not going to be 100%. I don't think we should expect that. But hopefully he can have more power, be better than David Peralta. But David Peralta, again, 887 OPS entering today since Fernando went on the IL. So he's actually been doing pretty good. But I'm not going to sit here and say I'd rather have David Peralta in there than Fernando Tatis Jr. I'm just not going to say that. What I'm going to say is I'd like to have Fernando back when he can get to a point where he's going to be as healthy as possible. Again, I don't think we should wait for him to be 100% because that's just not going to happen. But be as healthy as he can, get in that spot where he's good, get at bats, he can run, and boom, put him in there. Hopefully it's, September at some point, get some at bats at the big league level going into the postseason. And then you can have the luxury of having David Peralta as a bench bat. You can have Donovan Solano, who's been playing well as well. So that's what I've got tonight with Nando and with Darvish. Obviously, with Darvish, the baseball thing, yeah, we're Padres fans, so we're going to be talking about baseball and when he might be able to return. For me, that's just I don't know, and it's a personal thing. What he is dealing with, the family situation, it's still ongoing, is what it seems like. Listening to Dennis Lin today on San Diego Sports 760, so really just keep his family in our thoughts and hope that things can go as well as they can with whatever that situation is that he is dealing with. And then he can come back and we can take the positives from this. The absence is that he can be fresher down this stretch and maybe be fresher than other guys. And maybe he won't be hurt when he comes back and he won't be hurt the rest of the season, postseason as well. So we'll see. But that's what I've got tonight. Padres lose to the Rockies in game 1. Hopefully they flush it. They can win the next 2 games, win the series, and then end this 15-game stretch against bad teams on a really good note. And then because, today started the 18-game stretch in 18 days without an off day. So it's going to be important for these starting pitchers to give length. I guess that's one of the positives from Waldron tonight is at least he got 5 2/3, over 100 pitches. It's not like he was out after 3-4 innings. And then hopefully you can get some length out of other starters in this rotation. And you don't have to use those high leverage guys, right? So like the offense, score runs, don't have to use those high leverage, the Adam, Scott, Suarez trio there. Don't have to use that night in and night out over this 18-game stretch because we still got a good amount of the season left, especially if this Padres team can go on a long run in the postseason. That's weeks that are added on, which is what we want, obviously. But it's just something to keep in mind with this stretch without an off day.